Don't look at me like that. Do I have regrets? Yes. How many brain cells do you lose when you don't sleep enough? I'm asking for a friend.
What is it about 3 a.m. that makes one feel the need to whisper when they live alone? I fell right the fuck asleep.
Yes, I will take the round of applause, but wrap it up. But come on, but wrap it up, but come on. 2 hours until the end of this 24-hour frickin' nightmare. I mean, reading vlog. Mama didn't raise no cheater.
That's how my brain works.
I am losing my ever-loving mind.
What even is this video? Have I made a mistake? Do we care? Should we end it all? Who's to say?
Welcome back to my channel. Now you've probably already figured out by the title of this video, but today we are going to do a 24-hour reading vlog. Here is the thing. It is 6 p.m. right now. I actually tried to start this video at 1 p.m., so 5 hours ago. Anything and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I learned an important lesson, and that is my camera needs to go straight into the trash. I tried every angle, every setting, every lighting I could find. For the past couple of videos, I seriously thought, okay, it's a new camera. It's probably user error. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't had a camera since I was 14 years old. Filmed an intro literally 5 times, and every time I thought it worked, because it looked like it worked on the viewfinder. It would take forever to upload, and I would get it on here just to discover that it looked like some nightmare cartoon from hell. I will insert a couple of those clips here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Why do I look like a ghost? I look like I haven't seen sun in like 6 years. Is this camera focusing? Do we even know? Do we know how to use a camera? The answer is no. Am I blurry?
But they're unusable. So, I will be filming on my computer or my iPhone from now on until further notice. At 1 p.m., I was 100% prepared to do a 24-hour reading vlog. I was high on coffee and sunlight and a false sense of optimism. And now, 5 hours later, I am broken and defeated. My hair has lost its luster from going like this all day, but we're not going to let the bastards get us down, are we? I feel like we're in this together. So we're going to rally, and we are going to start this vlog instead of at 1 p.m., we're going to start at 7 p.m. I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're going to have a strange time. I hope I'm still speaking coherently 23 hours from now. So I think what I'm going to start with is Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. This is Allie's newest book. So in this book, we follow Elsie. She is a theoretical physicist, and she's an adjunct professor who's struggling financially. And so as a side hustle, she actually rents out her services as a fake girlfriend. She's also up for this incredible opportunity at MIT in the physics department that I believe would make her a tenured professor. It's a better salary, it's funding for all of her projects that she's trying to do, and it's better health care, which is super important because she is also a type 1 diabetic. And she attends this dinner with the committee that decides her fate at MIT. And lo and behold, she comes across Jack, who is her favorite client's brother, but he's also this incredibly infamous experimental physicist. I guess apparently there are theoretical physicist and experimental physicist, and they do not get along. He does not want her to get the job. He wants the experimental physicist that she is up against to get the job. She knew of him. She didn't know what he looked like, but she knew of him, and she already hated him. And now she discovers that he is also the brother of one of her favorite clients. So she's met him before, but she never realized that this was who he was. And he's pissed because he thinks she's lying to his brother. He's like, you told my brother you're a librarian and really you have a PhD and you're a physicist. Why are you lying to him? She can't explain because she doesn't want to break her client's trust. It's a whole thing. It's a mess. I think it's going to be like a academic rivals to lovers situation. Full transparency, started this yesterday and I am 64 pages in. So I will subtract 64 pages from my total page count for this reading vlog because I'm not a cheater. Mama didn't raise no cheater. I'm going to go try and find a cozy little spot to start this vlog. We are manifesting cozy vibes. So I'm going to draw the curtain like a dramatic 1880s heroine, and I am going to light a candle and put on a rainy, stormy ASMR and just, you know, lean into those cozy aesthetics. And I will see you guys at 7 p.m. to start the readathon.
We are in hour 3 of our 24 hours. During the first hour, I sat in my office while I was waiting for the sun to go down a bit because the office gets just slightly less sun than the living room does, and it was way too hot to sit out in the sun. I think I got another 50 pages in, and then I decided to take a little break and make some dinner. And while I was doing that, I did not want to cheat, so I started the audiobook for The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. And this follows the heroine of the first book's best friend, Fizzy, or Felicity. She is a romance author. Then we have Connor. We also get a perspective from, and you know how I love dual perspectives. That is, in my opinion, the best way to do a romance. I want to hear the guy's thoughts. So he is tasked with coming up with a new dating show. He wants Fizzy to be the lead in this dating show. It did not take long for her to basically ask him to come inside just for sex. She wasn't embarrassed about it. She wasn't shy about it. I feel like a lot of times in romance novels, at least the ones I've read recently, the girl is always like hesitant to admit any attraction for like half the book. It's fine, it makes sense. I'm all for a slow burn. But I also kind of appreciate a girl who knows what she wants and she's like, come inside, I like you, I want you. And he says no because he's literally creating a dating show for her. So how can he, you know, get into a relationship with her? And she's like, it's just sex. And he's like, not for me, I don't do that. I am on page 124 right now. So I listened to that while I was doing some things around the house and having dinner. And then I got right back to Love Theoretically. I am on page 210. I'm going to make some more coffee. This will be coffee number 2 of the evening. The hair is up. The t-shirt is on. We are now in comfy mode. Maybe have some chocolate or a little ice cream, some sugar to try and restart the old noggin and get back to the reading. Take your time, sweetheart. We're not waiting or anything. Liquid of the gods. Look at that steam, baby. I am a black coffee drinker. This is all that I need to get by. Look at her. Little pick-me-up. We're going to eat this bad boy, and then we are going to finish
Love theoretically. Let's do this. It is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm here with an update, and also we are currently at my vanity because I have got to get this makeup off. First and foremost, I did finally finish Love Theoretically. I definitely was taking my time with this because it was so good. It was so relatable. It was so much fun. Elsie as a character was kind of scary. It almost felt like Allie Hazelwood has been in my therapy sessions. The obsession with perfection, the obsession with people-pleasing, it's exhausting. And this is something that Elsie is definitely struggling with. As a love interest, Jack was, I mean, obviously it's a romance, it's fiction, but he was so perfect. He was so much exactly what she needed. At one point he asks her, like, what do you want to do for dinner? And she couldn't come up with an answer because she couldn't figure out what he wanted. And he's like, no, stop thinking. What do you like? And she's like, I like everything. And he's like, great, me too. So what do you want? And she's like, burgers? And he's like, yeah, I like burgers too, but what do you want? It was like listening to a conversation that I have had, like, recently. I can't tell you what I want because I'm so focused on what you want and what the right answer is. It was so cute. I was so giddy. It was so swoon-worthy. Couldn't decide what I wanted to read next, so I started 2 things. I don't know what we're going to go with because I'm enjoying both of them. But I did start another romance. I started Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the companion novel to When in Rome, so I'm hoping that this will be one that I can fly through, and that's why I started it. I'm definitely invested. I love her writing. It's just easy. It's just simple and easy. Her name is Annie. At the beginning of the book, she is on a date, and it is not going well. She's nervous. She's awkward. She's like, I don't even know why I decided to put myself out there. And at the same time, Will, who is the pop star from the first book's bodyguard, walks in on a date. He witnesses Annie's embarrassment, and he knows her because of her brother. And then Will basically, like, walks her out to her car and, like, closes the door for her. And all of a sudden she's feeling, like, swoony, and she doesn't feel like she's boring or all of the things she was feeling with the other guy. Will, we get his perspective, so we got another dual perspective, which we love. He is, like, admittedly intrigued and fascinated by her, and he has been for a long time, and they definitely have a mutual attraction. And that is all I know because I'm only 30 pages in, but so far it's cute and easy in typical Sarah Adams fashion. I'll be right back. I'm going to go wash my face. I also started All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby, and this was on my Summerween TBR, but I didn't end up getting to it, and I still would really like to read it this month. It's heavy. It's a lot. It follows a newly appointed black sheriff in a small Virginia town. His name is Titus. A year to the day that he gets elected, there is a school shooting. He's called to a school shooting, and it ends up resulting in 2 of his white deputies being involved in shooting down the suspect, who is a black man. He's put in a very precarious situation, so I believe it's going to be very hard-hitting, specifically because of how closely it relates to our current social and political climate. So now I'm going to get in bed. I'm going to pray that I won't fall asleep, but if I do, I will make the time difference up tomorrow. I'm going to go read something else. See you later. All right, y'all, it is 10:30 in the morning, which means that we are technically 15 hours into the 24-hour readathon. However, your girl fell asleep, which honestly is on brand, but incredibly disappointing. And the kiss of death was the getting into bed. You know it, I know it, we all knew it was going to happen. I slept from 5 a.m. until 9-ish, so I slept about 4 hours. Honestly, I think I just needed it, and I think I will have much better success today having done that. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. We're just gonna add hours to the back end. So instead of ending the vlog at 7 p.m., we are now going to end it at 11 p.m. Sacrifices must be made for the good of the reading. Before I fell asleep, I did not get a lot done. So I did read another chunk of Practice Makes Perfect. She's a pip, that Annie. She is a cutie patootie. I like how she puts him in his place. She teases him. She's not intimidated by him in any way. It's cute how she's not like shy around him the way she is around other people. And he is totally head over heels with her. Like, it's very obvious. He's like, there's something about her. I need to stay away. Will does not believe in love, and he really doesn't believe in commitment and relationships and marriage specifically. In the beginning of the book, he finds out that his brother is getting married, and his reaction is extreme. I mean, literally, he's like, you're making a mistake. I cannot support you. I'm sorry. I know you wanted me to be happy for you, but I just can't support this. Like, I have definitely heard of people not wanting to get married and not believing in commitment and relationships, but he definitely takes it to a whole other level. But he is willing to help Annie try and navigate how to go on dates and be less awkward. And so that is what they're about to embark on. He's going to train her in the art of dating. I also read a little bit more of All the Sinners Bleed. It's definitely way more intense than I even knew going in. I knew that there was a school shooting. I knew that there was some black versus white, black versus cop conversations and small town Southern Confederate bullshit. But there's also, which I forgot about, a whole serial killer element. I did read that in the synopsis, but it was a while ago, so I totally forgot about that. When it came up, I was like, holy shit, because it's some dark and twisted stuff. It has to do with pedophilia, pornography. I don't think it's a spoiler, but if you don't want to know anything going into this, skip ahead to when it doesn't say spoiler. The teacher that everybody in the town loves, he is the one that gets shot during the school shooting. And the man that shoots him sort of implies that there's more to him than we know about. But the man Luttrell was also definitely disturbed, maybe on drugs, had a lot of issues. So they didn't really take what he was saying as fact. But he says, look in his phone, and they do. And in his phone is a whole folder full of the most disturbing child pornography, torture, and all of these things with himself and Luttrell and a third man. They all wear wolf masks, but it's clear which one Luttrell is, which one this teacher is. And then there's a third mystery man that never takes his mask off, and he is now the only one that's still out there. So now it's sort of up to Titus to find him. But in the meantime, the town is mourning this man, this teacher that they all loved and that they all thought was just the best teacher they've ever had. They all held in such high esteem, holding a vigil for him. And Titus is like, I would hold on. This is still an active investigation, because he can't say what's going on and what he found on this man's phone until it's verified. And yet he's like, we should not be celebrating this man. He's a criminal monster. It's horrific. I'm excited to keep going with it. I am going to finish getting ready. I'm gonna find a comfy, cozy dress to put on because it is too hot for anything else. We're gonna listen to the True Love Experiment because we were loving that yesterday. And so we're gonna listen to that while we finish getting ready. So I think we're in a good position. I think we're feeling okay. I think it's all gonna work out in the end. But I also have some regrets, I'm not gonna lie. Like, why did I start this video? Why did I think this was a good idea? I feel like if I had started earlier, I would have finished a few more books yesterday, and today I would be able to wrap things up quicker, but whatever. Mistakes were made, things happened. I'm gonna go get ready, and then I'm gonna do something else. Yeah, cool. Okay, girl. Bye. I literally put on the brightest dress that I own so that I look like a freaking highlighter. That way, every time I catch my reflection, it will be so jarring that I'll be like, I'm awake. That's how my brain works. Interrupt this reading vlog with a little book mail moment. Now, I promised you that I would not be buying any books this month. However, I think I know what this is, and if I'm correct, it was a pre-order. So technically I broke no rules because I didn't buy this in July. It just arrived in July. If it is what I think it is, I am very excited to get my hands on it, and I may have to start it today. So let's just see, shall we? Again, we're not going to talk about my scissor safety. Yes, I am doing it toward me instead of away, and you're going to mind your business. Don't look at me like that. All right, moment of truth. It is definitely a pre-order, so I'm not in trouble. I didn't break the rules. Look at her. Look, we match. This is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing, who is the author of For Your Own Good, My Lovely Wife, and He Started It, which I have not started yet. I haven't read that one. It's over there. See her? This cover. I mean, come on. It is going to be very hard for me to not pick this up today, even though I'm currently reading 4 other things. I don't know what this is about. So let's find out together, shall we? From the best-selling author of My Lovely Wife comes a reckless, delicious thriller that gives a whole new meaning to the dangers of modern dating. There's something Wes and Ivy never talk about in Good Times Are Bad, the night of their worst breakup, when one of them took things too far and someone ended up dead. If they can stick together, they can survive anything, even the tightening net of a police investigation, because one more breakup might just be their last. Interesting. Guys, it gets better. She's pink on the spine when she's naked. Pink and black, I mean, literally, this is my aesthetic. All right, so time check. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pause while I do some math. Yes, I use my fingers. So we are 15 hours into our little 24-hour readathon. I am over halfway through both the True Love Experiment and Practice Makes Perfect, so I'm probably going to be able to finish both of those in the next couple of hours, and then we will be at 3 books, which honestly, I kind of feel like throwing in the towel now because I feel like that's a giant failure. For a 24-hour reading vlog to literally only read 3 books seems insane to me, but the day's not over, so let's not sell ourselves short yet. All right, cool. Check in with you later. Awful at updating this afternoon because I've really been trying to focus on the actual reading and less on the filming. But I come to you with good news. I have finished both Practice Makes Perfect and the True Love Experiment. This was adorable. I think I liked it more than When in Rome for the simple reason that I found Annie to be a more fun main character to follow and a more relatable main character to follow. That's just a personal preference. Annie had a lot of similarities to Elsie from the book I finished last night, Love Theoretically. As far as people-pleasing goes, she definitely doesn't have it as extreme as Elsie did, but she has projected this image of this sweet, innocent angel Annie, and that's what everyone in the town sees of her. And the only person who really sees through it is Will, and she doesn't even realize it, but he's like, you're not this sweet, innocent thing. You want adventure. You want to color outside the lines. You want to do crazy, silly things sometimes and have a crazy, adventurous life. And that's why she's so drawn to Will, because he does see her as this adventurous woman instead of this innocent little girl that everybody else sees, and he brings out this side of her that she's been holding back. And so Will is great for her. He starts out as just sort of her dating guru, but they quickly become more like friends, and he starts taking her on adventures and challenging her to step outside her comfort zone. Will is definitely not just attracted to her, but like actually kind of falling for her pretty much right from the beginning. He's dealing with so much of his childhood trauma that's sort of unresolved issues from his parents who had a very toxic relationship where they spent 18 years yelling at each other, cheating on each other, hurting each other, and so he kind of feels like that's all there is to relationships. He's never seen a healthy one last, and so he swore them off and never planned to get into one. And when he meets Annie, he's starting to want all these things he never wanted. The picket fence and the kids and the soccer games on weekends that she describes. He's like, why do I want this? I never wanted this. So it was really sweet to see him sort of overcome that burden and realize that not only does he want these things and that there are healthy relationships, not all relationships are toxic, but that he can have something like that with someone as sweet and charming and kind and bubbly as Annie is. So I definitely liked this. I don't think it was a 5-star, but I will figure out my rating by the end of the night. And then I also finished The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I was listening to this on audio, and this is coming from someone who mainly listens to audiobooks out of necessity when I can't physically read, but I don't love them, and most of the time I find that they really take away from the reading experience for me. But this one, I will say, was an excellent audiobook. It had me super engaged. Both of the narrators, the one for Fizzy and the one for Connor, were wonderful. The one for Fizzy she had this sort of like radio sultry voice, and it was perfect for Fizzy, who is a very confident, assured, self-assured woman. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid or embarrassed to say it and say, I want you, and I want you now, and I'm confident about it. It was really awesome to see. And then Connor's narrator was a lovely Brit. He had just one of those voices that resonates, certain tone just resonates, that it was just everything out of his mouth was like swoony. And I know that they're words on a page, but the way he said them was excellent. Connor was a great character. He was a great single dad. He was really kind. It was really hard to understand why he was even divorced in the first place, because he had such a good relationship with his ex-wife, which was so lovely to see. He seems like such a catch. He's such a good dad. He's so invested in his daughter's life and happiness. He is so not a playboy, doesn't want to sleep around. I think Fizzy was perfect for him because she kind of helped him to get out of his comfort zone. She kept trying to bring him joy, bring joy to his life. Overall, I thought this was really cute. I think I liked it more than the Soulmate Equation, just because I liked the characters better. But again, I don't think it's a 5-star. And I will try and come up with a rating by the end of the night for this one. But I will say the audiobook definitely helped its chances, and that was my biggest takeaway from it, is that the audiobook for this was just so great. So those are the books that I finished. We've officially finished 3 books in 19 hours. I'm not proud of those statistics, but we're going to let it go. We're going to move past it. I have 5 hours left of this readathon. As much as I really want to get to the new Samantha Downing, I think I'm going to try and complete All the Sinners Bleed first. I was really liking it, and I don't want my eyes to be swayed by shiny new things when I was enjoying this last night. I am going to change locations because I need a change of scenery. I love my office. This is my favorite room in my apartment, but I've been in here for hours now. So I'm going to treat myself to some more coffee. I'm going to up the caffeine levels, move to a new location, and get cracking on All the Sinners Bleed. And I will see you out in the living room.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
It is currently T-minus 2 hours until the end of this 24-hour frickin' nightmare. I mean, reading vlog. Cheers to that. So I decided to treat myself with a little cocktail because we are closing in on the end of the reading vlog. And I thought about making a drink around 5 o'clock because it was 5 o'clock. But then I thought, better not. We have a lot more reading to do. But now I can officially say that I have finished my 4th book. Yes, I will take the round of applause, but wrap it up. But come on, but wrap it up, but come on. There was a little slip up where I may or may not have accidentally rested my eyes for a bit, but it's okay. We're gonna forgive ourselves because we did wake up and finish it. Although I thought about not waking up. Definitely thought about just rolling over and giving up, but I didn't, and that's what counts. In this case, it's not the thought that counts, it's the action that counts. Know what I mean? As I said, I did finish All the Sinners Bleed. How many brain cells do you think we lose when we don't sleep enough? Just asking for a friend. Let me tell you, I don't know if it's my cocktail or the fact that it's the dead of July in New York City with no air conditioning, but your girl is hot as hell. Like, if I'm not sitting directly in front of my AC in my room or my fan out here, I'm a sweaty mess. I don't know why I just admitted that. Am I making any sense? Does anyone even care? Is anyone even watching this? I am losing my ever-loving mind. And this is not going to help, is it, love? I need to go stand in front of the fan before I drip off all my makeup in this one shot. BRB. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with this episode of Charlie Has Lost Her Noggin. So here are our updates. It is now an hour and a half until the end of this 24-hour readathon. You may be wondering, what happened to the last half an hour? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't account for it. Pretty sure I just sat in front of my fan and stared at a wall. So there's that. But the other important update I have for you is it's comfy clothes time. The dress has come off, ladies and gentlemen. Stay in your seats. Not that exciting. You, sit down. So as I said half an hour ago when I tried to start this update, I have completed my 4th book, All the Sinners Bleed, and man, was it tough. It was a very tough book to read. The subject matter, and I don't say this often, I read some dark shit, but the subject matter was just too real. It's one thing to read about fake serial killers and monsters and bioengineered illnesses and tapeworms and all these weird things that I've been reading recently. That's one thing, but this just hit too close to reality. It was really honest, and it almost read like a nonfiction, because half of the events in this book have happened, are happening, could have happened in this day and age today, right now, in any small town in the South, and it is horrifying. I loved Titus as a main character. It was pretty incredible how S.A. Cosby was able to depict him and show us inside his mind and allow us to see that he is thinking and feeling all of the same things that the readers are feeling as they're reading about these horrific events. I will say, look up trigger warnings if anything might be bothersome to you, because there may be a trigger or two in here that you might not like. So overall, I really enjoyed it. It was really tough to read, really tough pill to swallow, but overall super, super well written. So that is probably the last coherent thought I'm going to be able to get out tonight. I think I'm going to start A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. I obviously will not be able to finish this in the next hour and a half, but I'm going to see how many pages I can get read in that time period. I'm going to go. It's officially over. It is 11 o'clock. The readathon is over. You may be asking why I'm currently sitting in the dark. Couldn't tell you. I spent the last half hour pacing around trying to stay awake while I read the beginning of A Twisted Love Story. I think the neon light was just calling to me, and I ended up in my office in the dark, and I don't feel like moving. So, we're here to tell you that the readathon is over. I started reading at 7 p.m. last night. I was supposed to finish reading at 7 p.m. tonight, but because I made the mistake of going to sleep for 4 hours, which, believe it or not, I'm not able to read in my sleep. I know. I was sad about it too. But because I wasn't able to read during those 4 hours, I am not a cheater. So I added 4 hours to the end of this. So we read from 7 p.m. last night until 11 p.m. tonight, excluding the 4 hours of sleep. So that was 24 hours, and now it's over. So I'm going to go to bed, and we're going to save the final wrap-up for the morning. And I will tell you about the 4 books that I finished, as well as the 2 books that I started, Divine Rivals being one of them. It's not here. I don't own it yet. Maybe one day. Not today. I think it would be interesting to figure out how many pages I read. It might help me set some more realistic goals in my life. We'll go over all that tomorrow. For now, I'm going to go to bed. You can't come with me. Excuse my voice. I don't know what happened, but I woke up like this. It is several days later. I am just now sitting down to wrap up the 24-hour readathon that I did close to 2 weeks ago. Things happened, life happened, what can you do? But I'm here to wrap it all up so that I can finish editing this, get it up, and move on with my life because it's been a rough couple weeks. I read Love Theoretically. I think I'm giving this 5 stars. No, I know I'm giving this 5 stars. It was perfect. There's nothing more I can say about it that I haven't already said. It was the perfect book for me, the perfect romance for me. It was my favorite Allie Hazelwood for sure, and it just gave me that 5-star feeling. I also finished Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This was adorable. I preferred it to When in Rome. While it didn't quite give me that 5-star feeling like Love Theoretically did, it was definitely up there, so I'm going to give it a 4, 4.5, somewhere in there. Via audiobook, I did finish The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. This one was adorable. I preferred it to The Companion, The Soulmate Equation, but again, it wasn't fully 5 stars for me, so I think this one's going to get a 4. And the last book that I finished in completion is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This was dark, twisted, sad, infuriating. There were a lot of trigger warnings for a ton of different things, but it was so well written and it was so engaging that I've got to say 5 stars. And then I did start A Twisted Love Story and I got 50 pages into it. Got 10 chapters into this one before the end of the night. I'm going to count those 50 pages toward my total page count. One book that I did not mention, which I picked up on Kindle when I was in bed with the lights out, was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I tried to film a quick clip about it in the morning, about my first thoughts on the book, but it was really rambly. I had no idea what this was about, even 50 pages in, so I just cut that clip out, but I did read 50 pages of this. So altogether, I read a total of 4 books. I had 2 5 stars, 2 4 stars, and I started 2 additional books. So altogether, I read 1,557 pages, divided by 24. That comes out to about 64, 65 pages an hour, which is kind of what I thought. I always assumed that I probably read roughly a page a minute, but I never had any evidence to back that up. So this was helpful to sort of dial my expectations back a bit, because a lot of times I'll look at a 300-page book and in my head I'll go, well, that'll take 3 hours, but realistically it's more like 5 hours. Now I know that I can feasibly read 64 pages an hour or a page a minute, and hopefully I'll be able to set some more realistic goals in the future. Now, what did we learn from this experiment? This is the first time I've ever tried to read for 24 hours straight. And there's a few takeaways. Number 1, I spent way too much time filming and updating and way too little time reading. It took me longer to film and update all of the clips than it should have, and I didn't spend as much time as I should have focusing on actually reading. So I feel like if I spent less time updating and maybe saved the updates till the end, then I would probably be able to squeak in another book or 2. Next time I try this, because my memory is short, and as much as that felt like such a nightmare, I already want to do it again because I'm competitive and I want to beat my time. I want to beat my record. But next time I film this, I think I'm going to try and maybe just give page updates every couple of hours, but not actually go into what the book's about and my thoughts on it until the end of the video when I wrap it up. My other takeaway is trying to not sleep. Terrible idea. I knew it wouldn't be possible, but I wanted to challenge myself. it's not possible. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely use a stopwatch, and I would pause the time when I go to sleep and sleep as much as I need to, instead of sleeping 3 to 4 hours and then struggling through the entire next day. And then in the morning I could press play on the timer again and feel like I'm refreshed, but also I didn't waste any time and I didn't fail in any way. So those are my 2 takeaways. I do want to do this again. Thank you for coming on this chaotic journey with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Oh my goodness, my hair. What is it doing? What is this? What is this?
I need to clean this counter again.
On, because, excuse me, oh my god.
Like I
swear to God, it's like as soon as I turn the camera on, we decide to be dicks outside.
Right? Have I been flashing you this whole time?
Some rainy ASMR? I can't even fucking talk.
I need to make my bed. No, there's no time.
And apparently we're moving furniture right now. We are here to do things.
So you might see me pacing around a bit. Come on. Did I just become Jamaican? Fucking hell. How do you be British? I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. What is wrong with me? It's a circle of trust, Greg.